What's up, dabbling DIYer friends and family? So it is a Tuesday after work, and obviously we're outside because it's nice weather. Cleaning up the yard, working on some projects, and figured I'd do a quick little video. I was moving I have a job site miter saw. I take it to jobs and bring it back, and I just use this job site miter saw. This is one of them saws that I bought at a pawn shop probably close to 5 or 6 years ago. I think I paid $60 for it. It's an old DeWalt 12-inch miter saw with double beveling, and I think I picked up this Ryobi stand for 50 bucks on sale. So this has been a good saw. A lot of people would say, you know, when you start having issues with it, just go ahead and replace the saw. But when you're spending so much money on tools and things like that, I mean, it adds up quick. So we have got an issue with this miter saw, and let me pull this out here. It's nothing major, but it will be. So let me turn the camera around. I'll show you guys the issue, and we're gonna fix it real quick. It won't cost us any money. It shouldn't take but about 10 or 15 minutes to fix, and we'll be back on the road. So this old saw, the cord is just in terrible shape. The wires are exposed. It's cracking really bad. I mean, this thing does see a lot of weather. Here it's pretty jacked up, and it's really a safety hazard. All it would take would be for me to nick one of these, and when it was plugged up, I mean, even right here at the end, this is a safety hazard. So what I'm going to do, now you could cut this up here and just splice it, but what I'm actually going to do is take it loose in here, because this piece runs into right here. I'm going to take this loose, and I'm going to actually connect it like it was done from the factory. I have an old table saw that I've been using for parts and things like that, so I already have a new cord. You'll just want to make sure that you get a cord with the same gauge. So usually you'll find some markings on here. It's very faint on here. I don't even know if I can get it to zoom in, but almost 14 gauge is what we're looking at. So, and we'll check the inside wires and see if there's any markings on those. So this is just going to be a quick video on basically maintaining your tools. Now, I could go and convince my wife that because this is all tore up, I need to do a new saw. But we don't want to do that because this has been a good saw. So we will go ahead and replace this cord, and you guys can just follow along with me. Alright, so we got a cord. This came off an old table saw. The cord's in really good shape, and I just cut it here at the bottom. I probably got about 6-7 foot. So we're going to use this to replace our cord on our miter saw. Now, if you didn't have this cord, obviously you could use the same gauge wire it up, and then put a case around your wire, or if you had an old drop cord with the same gauge wire, you could just cut it and splice it in. But I have several wires and other things set back just for kind of stuff like this. So now what we're going to do is take the handle loose here, and then we'll take these 3 or 4 bolts here, well actually it's more like 6 loose, to get this off. That way we can get in here and see how it's connected. We're going to try to do this just like it was from the factory. I mean, up here it is just tore up. We don't want to fire. Let me grab some tools. Looks like we're going to need what's a star bit or a flathead. So now this isn't just a video on replacing the cord on a miter saw. This could be for your drill. This could be for your table saw. I mean, you can replace the cord on any tool. They're interchangeable parts. We're just doing this one because it needs it. So let me grab that flathead. Let's see here. It's a flathead. Alright, so we're just going to take all these out, and when I get that done, I'll show you guys what it looks like on the inside here. Screws pulled out. Anytime you're taking something apart, you want to be conscientious of where everything goes back. So I've got all my screws set over here where they go. You want to be careful because this is spring loaded. You don't want to start jerking stuff apart because springs might go flying everywhere. So just take your time. Once you get everything loose, pull it apart slowly. That way you can put it back together. So we've got this little cover loose here and this handle loose, so we're going to pop this off. I'm thinking there's another screw under here, so let me pop this handle off first. And then we will work on getting this new wiring harness wired into this. Alright, so we got our handle off. And as suspected, there is one more screw under here. So we'll break it loose. And that should be all of the screws. So this top piece here should pop right off now. And you can see in here, it's just going to be a lot cleaner if I do it like it was in the factory. This piece right here is what clamps your wires right there, keep them from pulling out. And the one that we're replacing is this top wire. So it's coming in. It looks like it's just a wire with your neutral and your black, so there's no ground wire in this. So all we're going to have to do is take our nut loose here and pull this white wire out. And it looks like this one has an end on it, so we'll have to put an end on it that connects to our trigger here. So let's pop this out, wire out, and I just wanted to show you guys, it's a wonder I haven't had a fire, because I've got nicks in this, and this, you can tell this saw has been used, and it is definitely a safety hazard. So this is, this is going to literally take me less than 5 minutes to do this. I probably should have done this a year or two ago before this thing started getting this bad. You just want to be conscientious because sometimes we get so wrapped up in getting the job done, we're sacrificing our safety. So that one's done. We've got a new one here which is in perfect shape. We'll get our ends pulled back. We'll cut it back a good 6 inches, get our wires pulled through, and then we'll start to rewire this back up. Remember, our white wire was really short because it's right up there by the handle. Our black wire, we wanted to cut it back a little further for the black because it was quite a bit longer. So I'm just checking to make sure I don't have any nicks or anything because this is where it was crimped in the table saw. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back, get these ends trimmed back about ½ inch. Once I get that done, we'll go put it in the saw and I'll show you guys wiring it back up. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to feed the wires back through here. Like I said, this piece needs to come all the way to right here in this little divot. We'll go back right there. That way when we get our piece back on, it will crimp it down in here. Oh, a lot of sawdust in there. We'll crimp it back down in here, that way we don't have to worry about it pulling out because this table saw does get used a lot. So now all we have to do is cut our white wire, connect it here. We'll run our black wire around to the end on it, connect it back, and we'll put our top back on, and we will have a brand new cord. And I ended up having, actually it was longer than the other one. We got about 6 foot now, even though we took off about a foot up here. So let me get these wires cut and stripped back. I'll get it connected here, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I get it connected back. We're actually going to be using marine gray ends. This is I bought these a while back when I was remodeling my boat, and so we will find an end that will work. Alright, so I got it out. So since this saw is going to be used outside, the insides are stainless, and this is actually a heat shrink. So we'll attach our wire in here, and then we will use a lighter and heat this up around it, and it will shrink around the wire. So that should weatherproof it a little bit more. I have a lot of these left, so we'll go ahead and use what we have on hand, and hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. So we've got our end stripped, and we twisted it really tight. That way we can slide it in here. If I can get it to focus. Then we will take our crimpers and we will crimp it. Then we will heat shrink it, connect it back, and we'll get this thing put back together. We've got it crimped on. Take a lighter now, and like I said, you just heat this bottom shank up, and it you just heat this bottom up, and it will heat shrink around the wire. And it's a more secure connection. Alright, so there we have it, and we went ahead and ran it where it needs to go. So let's put our cover back on, our handle, and we'll call this job complete. So that was just a little quick one. We've got it put back together. It looks just like it did from the factory. Everything is nice and even. So we'll just plug her up and lift it up. Make sure she works. No issues there. So we'll call that one a wrap. I appreciate you guys watching. So thanks for watching another episode of the Dabbling DIYer. We'll see you guys soon. Please click subscribe, like the videos. It really helps me out.